Don in London, hello. It's January the 11th, 2010. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour, could be as addictive. Work, relationships, materialism, collecting, trying to be right, trying to be perfect, trying to look the way I thought I ought to look, having all the trappings of success, ending up in the gutter. Yeah, ending up in the gutter. That's where I ended up. And how did that happen? Well, I guess I feared life a lot of the time, and I kept on doing all the things I thought I ought to be doing to look right, and never really understood how to be right. So these days, just one day at a time, I'm doing what is right in the right way for me, just learning how to be me on a daily basis. So I guess, like most people, I've had a bit of an identity crisis over the years, and as one doctor said to me, or a GP, general practitioner, said many years ago when I had a nervous breakdown, he said, this was about the age of 40, I had the nervous breakdown, and he said it was very good really. He said if you'd had a nervous breakdown at the beginning of your life, it would have made everything miserable from start to finish, and if you'd had a nervous breakdown at the end of your life, well, what could you have done about it? So now you've had one in the middle, why don't we just call it a midlife crisis? And I didn't know just what sort of crisis it was, and at the time, what did I do? On the way to my nervous breakdown, I worked as hard as I possibly could. I tried every relationship, and I guess hurt a lot of people, a lot of women along the way, inadvertently, because I was trying to be perfect for them, and never really understood who I was. So, as I say, these days, just trying to be me, living life singularly at the moment, which is probably the best place to be when you're not quite sure, but then being open to the possibilities that life can afford. So, a long career of drinking, careering along. So the first drink did take the edge off, and then after that first drink, well, all bets were off, I suspect. You know, I took risks, and when people asked me, can you do this job, I said yes, and I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I was willing to try, and because I strove very hard, I was quite successful. And 2 careers later, and then a breakdown, and then trying to put my life back together the way it was, I really started drinking hard, because nothing, absolutely nothing, made any sense, and I felt utterly shattered and alone. And I think some people call that the jumping off point. So what has helped me come away from thinking I don't want to wake up anymore every morning, which was me several years ago, through to when I wake up in the morning, I ask myself, how am I feeling? And if I'm feeling okay, I try not to judge or think, why am I feeling okay? I just accept it. And when it's not so good, I do go looking for reasons, why am I not okay? And the strange thing about life is, based on what is happening to us and our life experience, we can either take an extreme view of it, or we can just say, it's life happening, and I have a part to play in it. I'm in it. I'm in the game of life. But it's a very serious one. It's the only one we've got. And for me, trying to make sense of life is a daily occurrence. So a very early morning call from the dearest of friends, who I adore and love immensely, saying, I'm not too sure about this. And it was okay, because I was awake. Odd, isn't it? Anyway, all we have to do is listen sometimes, and sharing how it is what makes life work. So why do I do these videos? Well, to share recovery, and also to share about how a fellowship helped me. That's Alcoholics Anonymous, full of unique, authentic people. Unique, authentic people, always. We are all unique and authentic, and we all have our path. And sometimes it can be darned difficult and extremely, well, painful, I guess. And the pain is as great for anyone who is in pain. You know, pain is not graduated between people. Everybody's pain is pain, and just as hard to live with and experience and then come out of. We don't overcome pain, it's there, and then we change. Our attitude, behaviour, our outlook, it changes through time based on life experience and finding the right choices for us to do. So what is recovery about? It's finding the right life choices. And AA, the fellowship, started me on a program of living in the moment. So what is AA? I share the AA preamble here as a statement of intent, and these videos originally intended for people who could not get to AA meetings because they asked me to do a few, and it sort of grew a bit like that. So I do them daily just to see how they may help. So Alcoholics Anonymous is this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And the way we do that is by sharing experience, strength and hope. And everybody has a view of where to share it, and everybody has a view of anonymity. And for me, anonymity is very simply the opportunity to have a place to go and share without it being out on public display, a place to share our innermost fears often, and no, it's a sanctuary. So anonymity, a sanctuary to find our spiritual core, which is who we are right now, and often that can be very difficult. So the program helps me on a daily basis, and when I can't get to meetings, although I go most days, I share the daily reflections, this one, and read it. And the 12 steps are in here, the 12 steps of action in the 12-step action program for individuals, and each and every step will work at some point in a day if life experience is there to be able to be guided by the 12 steps. And the first step obviously is step 1, powerless over alcohol, and life is unmanageable if we were to go back and drink or fall into another addiction as well and get out of balance. And for January 11th there's 1 page per day in this book. It says the 100% step. Only step 1, where we made the 100% admission we were powerless over alcohol, can be practiced with absolute perfection, and that's always on a daily basis. It's never, ever, forever. Long before I was able to obtain sobriety in AA, I knew without a doubt that alcohol was killing me, yet even with this knowledge I was unable to stop drinking, and that's the malady, it's the disease, emotional and physical, and some say spiritual, I do. So when faced with step 1, I found it easy to admit that I lacked the power to not drink. But was my life unmanageable? Never. It says here with an exclamation mark. 5 months after coming into AA, I was drinking again and wondered why. Later on, back in AA and smarting from my wounds, I learned that step 1 is the only step that can be taken 100%, and that the only way to take it 100% is to take 100% of the step. That was many 24 hours ago, and I haven't had to take step 1 again. But I do remind myself on a daily basis that I am powerless over alcohol and life is unmanageable if I were to drink. But I also remind myself that I'm powerless over people, places and things. Although I used to think I was powerful over people, places and things, but inanimate objects I have no power over, unless they're lighter than me and I can move them around. I can't change them though. And the same applies to people. They may say yes to me face to face, but if you know what I mean. So step 1, powerless, is a good place to be. It means we're vulnerable and open to choices and changing, which in fact is a strength. And acceptance is where we are on any given day, in any given moment of how life is today. So that serenity prayer to God or good conscience, whatever it is that floats your boat, to God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, is, for me, just for today.